clients, people, and culture. What makes a great client relationship? Leave that for you.
Yeah,
Your clients love you most of the time.
most of the time, and until they turn their back on me. What makes a great client relationship? I think it usually does come down to the personality traits.
Yeah.
You can jump on a call and, just bounce off people sometimes and it feels very natural. And most of the time, those clients are, I don't, they're exclusive to me and they're going to work with me because there was an energy that
Mm.
was positive, right? And I think you obviously look for things that you can relate to, like anyone you meet, but I think it generally happens quite naturally. I think I'm generally quite good at explaining what I will do and how I will do it and the energy that I will give to the project. And I think that's
Yeah.
always a big part, is just what I will do to make sure that the project is really good. So I think we're very genuine, and I'm pretty sure that's why one of the big strengths of the businesses is, as a salesperson, I'm not salesy, right?
Yeah.
I'm soft spoken, I'm not pushy. The feedback for me has always from clients is that I've been helpful and gone above and beyond to help, and just been, super, soft and not pushy. We myself and Nathan went for a meet with an agent in over Christmas, and she went, "Oh, you actually care about your clients?" And I went, what does that mean?" She's like, "Oh, a lot of agents and brokers don't even negotiate." And I'm like,
That's
"What?"
crazy.
I mean, that is mental. I mean, knowing that, even some providers saying, you can't negotiate on the price. I was like, you can't ask me to do that. It's the one thing I'm proud of
Yeah.
when I get a good deal. I think it was like year 2, year 3.
Mm.
I think it was I'm not going to say the name because they might not like it, but
Yeah.
a big institutional building in the city, and they said this is the best deal anyone's ever negotiated. And I was like, I was skipping for like a week. I was so proud of that moment. It's like, yeah,
Yeah.
I've negotiated the best deal. So, you know, I think little things like that resonate with the clients. I think that's what makes the relationship strong. And, like I said before, is the value isn't in the search. I mean, we can find off market opportunities, and we can find like offices that might not always be, uh, I guess, obviously available.
Yeah.
But the big value is to save the timepiece, do it, bring it all under one umbrella, and then to negotiate the price. And that's what I'm really proud of, is when I go and get a client an amazing deal,
Yeah.
and I'm like, you have no idea. I mean, half the time they don't even know how good the deal is. It's
For
like, you
sure.
have no idea how much I pushed to get that deal.
Yeah.
And when the clients realize it and they know that you're kind of fighting for their corner, like they buy in, and actually that's when the relationship it really works well.
Definitely.
How
I
do you
think,
feel?
yeah, I think for me, like, honesty is really key.
Mm-hmm.
Not to sound like a management consultant with like honesty, integrity, and those kind of words, but like honesty is really, really important to me, like in everything, like life, business, like really, really key. So for me, I'm like always trying to be honest. I think I'm lucky because I think in our industry, like I'm very authentic.
Mm-hmm.
Like I have done like hundreds of projects. Like, I mean, as a business, we did 50 last year.
Mm-hmm.
So over the last 10 years, I do not know how many projects I've done, but it's so many.
Mm-hmm.
Like, so I'm authentic. Like, if I'm saying something, it's true,
Mm-hmm.
like, and I think clients get that instantly. And I think that makes the great relationship for us. It's like you're honest, you're authentic. Like, I really believe you. Um, and then on top of that, there is just always being responsive. They're kind of the three key things for me. Like, if you call me, I'll call you back. If
Mm-hmm.
I miss your call, if you email me, I will email you back. If you ask me something, I'll make sure I find the answer.
Mm-hmm.
I take lots of notes and make sure I follow up on them. So for me, that's what makes the great client relationships, like that honesty piece, like super authentic, and then just always responding. Like, I think
Mm-hmm.
it sounds intuitive, but like just doing what you say you're going to do, or like, yeah, I'll write that down, I'll follow up.
Mm.
And then actually following up like in a timely manner where it's not like 3 days later, it's like that evening or the next day. Like it sounds super simple, but I mean, I would say for anyone beginning of their careers, like it's
Hmm.
how you can really stand out quite easily.
Well, I mean, funny enough, is what was it like? We 8 and 4.
Yeah.
You know, the client's feedback when we were around.
Hmm.
I think we we're second viewing the office. He was like, "You really listened. No
Yeah.
one else ever listened." And I was like, "Okay, I mean, that's a pretty, that's just that just goes hand in hand. I listen. And actually, when we have new guys, especially on the sales team, I always tell them you
Mm.
have to listen, and then you demonstrate that you listened, and you build the trust just
Mm.
by listening and demonstrating. It goes such a long way, and it's
Yeah.
definitely a simple thing that I think a lot of our industry are missing. They're not doing it because they're going, "Hey, what about this?" Because it suits their prerogative. What about
Yeah.
this? Because it gets me a nice fee.
No,
But
I think you're
actually,
right.
you
There's
know,
that we're independent, right? At the
hmm
end of the day, so like we don't care who we do the deals with, and like it's not impressive for us if you do a deal with like Derwent
mm,
or General Projects or WeWork. Like
hmm
we don't care. Like it doesn't mean anything to us.
hmm
Whereas I think for some businesses, there's a lot of status still at play, right? It's like,
hmm
oh, we've done the big deal at their new show building. It's like, great, like we don't care.
hmm
We're just trying to do the best for our client and give them exactly what they need. But I think listening and that emotional intelligence, I think, is super key, right?
hmm
Like emotional intelligence in what we do is paramount. Putting yourself in the client's shoes, in terms of like how they're feeling, what they want to achieve out of it, making sure that they're being listened to and valued. I mean, it will never go away, I guess,
mm.
being able to do that. AI can't take our jobs yet, basically.
Not yet.
Not yet,
Not yet.
until it shows some emotion. Um, how do you want people to feel working with you? Well, I think we kind of touched on that, maybe.
I want them to have fun. I think that's what I say to the clients is, look, this can be quite a mundane task
Hmm.
and it can feel overwhelming and you don't really know what you're talking about. And
Yeah.
I guess that's why I go back to is like, I'll save you the time because actually there are thousands of offices.
Hmm.
So I'll listen to you. I'll whittle them down to a short list that's actually palatable for you,
Yeah.
and you can actually look at it and go, "Oh, you should have the trust in me to say, actually, you know, the you trust me that these
Mm.
are the right options to have a look at." So I want them to feel that they trust me. I want them to feel like we're doing a great service. I
Hmm.
think ultimately he's responsive, he's on it, he's working his best. An extension of the business, let's say, during that time. And I want them to feel like I'm going to get them the best deal and the best terms possible. And I do fight really hard to do that. And obviously, the legal firm we've just helped, that's like the best deal I've ever negotiated in my life. And I think the reality was that, it kind of, there was twofold. It was one that we were trying to, it was an option that probably they couldn't have taken unless we had got the price down.
Hmm.
But two, it was like actually to make this happen for the landlord and the client, this is what has to happen.
Yeah.
So that was what, and I had to figure it out. I was like, okay, it wasn't going to be price. Maybe it was rent free. Maybe it's, maybe we like there were so many different angles we had to look at. But the reality is, I didn't give up.
Hmm.
And I think at some point, I think other agents would have given up on it and said, okay, move on. But I kept going, kept pushing, and it sucked the life out of me. But actually, when I look at once it was done,
Mm.
and we're about to start on site and with the fit out, you're like, okay, it really was worth it. And actually, that client's got an amazing deal, and actually, the landlord's in a happy place too. So it all kind of comes together.
Yeah. I think the fun piece is key.
Hmm.
It should feel like a fun thing the
Hmm.
business does that year. I think we used to say like that year, that business probably won't spend any more money on a singular thing
Hmm.
in terms of like capital expenditure. So, it should feel like a step change. It should feel like a fun thing to do. It
Hmm.
should feel like a great journey. And I think that almost fun piece, I don't know if fun encapsulates it perfectly, but it
Hmm.
feels like the right way to look at it.
Should be exciting, right?
Yeah,
It
it
shouldn't
should
be a
be.
drag.
Definitely.
Mm.
I think that is key. And what we are trying to get across in our brand and stuff, like come along with us because it will be that little bit more fun,
Hmm.
which I think is good.